I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
The Crow 4 Wicked Prayer, released in 2005. It took me a while to see this film. Might not seem like it, but this was a film I do remember not liking. It was a pain watching this again. There's a reason why this film gets a 2.8 on IMDb. I've said before that The Crow did not need a franchise. This film really, The Crow 2, City of Angels, I fucking hate. I don't care which version it is. The Crow 3 Salvation, I saw that again, and I thought it was decent. Better than I remember. Can't call it a great movie, but it's a decent film. When you watch Crow 2, then you watch Crow 3, especially when you watch this one, and then you watch Crow Salvation, you're like, hey, Crow Salvation's not that bad. This one, though, Eddie Furlong, why did you cast this guy? I like Edward Furlong to a degree, meaning I like Brain Scan. I reviewed Brain Scan. It's on my channel. When I did my first time viewing in March, I reviewed Brain Scan. I enjoyed it. Terminator 2. Pet Cemetery 2, I can even go... I think... I gotta even say Pet Cemetery 2 is fucking better than this movie. Long story short, you have... Instead of taking place in an urban environment, this takes place in the desert. It takes place around Native American reservation. And something about these mines are going to be closed down, and there's talks of a casino being built. You have this group of people who they're Satanists, and like they're named War, Pestilence, Famine, and Death. Pestilence is played by this Asian guy, Yuji Okamoto. He's a guy who's very sick. Probably, I think from like toxic waste or something. Yeah, Famine, this guy played by Tito Ortiz. You got this guy named War, played by Marcus Chon. And then you got Death, played by David Boreanaz from the TV show Angel. He's in the, what is it, Bones, and TV show Bones. And Death, or Luke, has a girlfriend played by Tara Reid. And basically they want to they want to raise the devil. So you have our leads. You have Edward Furlong, who's this convict. Well, he's an ex-convict. He killed this guy who tried to rape his woman. But he's back and he's in love with his woman. And his woman, her brother, and her father played by Danny Trejo, and her brother, who I think is the sheriff, or at least the local cop, I should say, don't approve of her dating Edward Furlong, but they don't get together, they don't run off with each other, or they want to. But then the group kind of starts off in the beginning where this really lame shit where the Asian guy, Pestilence, it's like at these mines where people are protesting, and this guy, Asian guy, Pestilence, like, he kits these guys. I swear to God, not a single fucking kit connects. He kits one guy. There's like a space this much from the foot and the guy's face. He kits, and then, ooh, I'm like, there's no actual impact. Like, he does like 3 kits. None of them even fucking connect. I mean, that's bad editing and bad directing. I mean, it doesn't even fucking connect. And, like, the reason they're doing this is because they want revenge. I think David Boreanaz, his dad was a preacher who was killed by someone. And I'll say for revenge. And they break David Boreanaz out of this chain gang sort of jail. And they kill Edward Furlong and this woman by hanging them. Tara Reid takes the girl's eyes, so now she has the eyes of a shaman. And David Boreanaz kills Edward Furlong and takes his heart. And does some ritual, and then he has like 666 on his chest. He has a little bit of power now. Eddie Furlong comes back. He's a fucking emo chick. Fucking goes after, and he goes to the Asian guy. You have this lame fuck of a fight where he kills a guy by electrocute him on a fucking bud zapper, and then I think like a neck crack. Very lame ass fight scenes. And then you have fucking, he goes after David Boreanaz and his crew. Before that, they find this preacher guy, and David Boreanaz, I guess this is the guy who killed David Boreanaz's father. And the guy's like, I've changed my ways. I've done my time. And he shoots them, and they decide to kill all the witnesses. Except the wife. Let her suffer. And Eddie Furlong goes to her, and apparently they were the parents of the kid he killed who tried to rape his woman. And I'm like, bitch, lady, you know, your kid tried to rape Eddie Furlong's woman. I mean, but that never comes into play. Like, he never brings that up or anything, I guess. Because, like, way before, and everybody hates Eddie Furlong's character. I'm like, this asshole tried to rape his woman, which is your daughter, Danny Trejo, but you don't give a fuck, I guess. Yeah, it's okay. You tried to rape her. It's alright. And long story short, just fucking, they have this lame-ass fight with Eddie Furlong, David Boreanaz. Eddie Furlong kills this one guy. Very lame-ass way. Lame-ass fights. Lame-ass choreography. Boring. Very, very low budget. Pop in my ears. I know I've been doing that lately. I'm sorry. And then basically it all gets to a church where David Boreanaz and Tara Reid have to be married, and you have fucking Macy Gray. Why she's there? She's a terrible actress. I don't give a fuck about her singing. You have fucking Dennis Hopper, may he rest in peace, but he's playing this shitty pimp called El Nino, saying shit like Cracker Jack and Homie, saying lines like, the book, kiss it, bitch, or, you know, hey, Lucifer, quit your bath in the darkness and hit your bitch, or whatever the fuck his lines of dialogue, like speaking Ebonics or something. I'm like, come on. No. This is lame. Go through the wedding, and now David Boreanaz, I guess his character has a little bit of Lucifer in him now. Of course, the Crow's been hurt, so now the Crow, I mean, the figure, Eddie Furlong is a pussy. He's a wimp. He looks like a chick, an emo chick. I swear to God, looks like a fucking emo chick. Looks like a pussy. And half the time, Eddie Furlong's acting like he's bored out of his mind. Like, can barely remember his dialogue. And the other time, as the Crow, he's not intimidating. He's not badass. He can't fight. He's shitty. He's lame. With lame-ass fights. and basically gets the shit kicked out of him again and again and again. Then the war guy, he gets killed. Uh, Eddie Furlong gets sort of crucified, I guess, in a way. And David Boreanaz and Tara Reid apparently have to go to, a graveyard or some type of holy ground to have sex to make him ultimately Lucifer before the sun rises. And they bring Eddie Furlong down. It's like, heal the crow, and there's Danny Trejo and all these other guys. And so Danny Trejo is fucking dancing with all these other guys in slow-mo around the fucking crow. His silly shit. Not making it up. Danny Trejo takes his fucking shirt off and is dancing slow around the fucking crow. So the crow is okay, while Eddie Furlong gets there and gets the shit kicked out of him, and David Boreanaz is overacting horribly, being horribly, horribly overacting. He's like trying to do his worst Jack Nicholson impression or something. And then ultimately, he gets his powers back. The sun rises, kills David Boreanaz, Tara Reid gets arrested, Eddie Furlong gets with this woman, and they go off in the end of the movie. What is surprising is the director of this film, Lance Mungia, the last film he directed is a film that actually gets a 6.5 on IMDb. This film, I just saw the trailer to, is called Six String Samurai. This is like a film I would like to see. The trailer for this film was better than the entire movie of The Crow Wicked Prayer. Stars some guy named Jeffrey Falcon. Maybe that's why, because Jeffrey Falcon starred and also helped write this film, Six String Samurai. I mean, look at the plot of this film. It's a post-apocalyptic musical satire martial arts movie. Alternate history America, in which Soviet Union attacked the U.S. with nuclear weapons in 1957, making most of the country a desert. The government has entirely collapsed, except for the Kingdom of Elvis, who rules from Las Vegas to California. The Red Army has been besieging Vegas, but the lack of supplies from the Soviet Union has caused them to degenerate into just another game. As the movie begins, Elvis has died, and a radio disc jockey announces a call for all musicians to come to Las Vegas to try to become the new king of rock and roll. Buddy, who's implied to be Buddy Holly, is one of the musicians converging on Las Vegas. I guess played by Jeffrey Falcon, who's actually a martial artist who's appeared in a lot of Hong Kong action movies in the 80s and 90s. He's a musician, but he's also a fucking samurai. And he has this kid that hangs around him. And he fights zombie-like cannibalistic suburban family, windmill people who are dressed like astronauts, a bowling team, a bounty hunters, a Russian surf band, and the Russian army. And then he's stalked by this guy named, who I guess is supposed to be the Grim Reaper, and he kicks his ass. I want to see this fucking movie. I saw the trailer, Six String Samurai. I'm like, the trailer alone has shitty acting, but the action and everything else, is just the plot line alone, makes it 10 times better than this fucking movie. I'm like, what happened? I mean, just the trailer to that film is better than this movie. Maybe Jeffrey Falcon, maybe he should have written and starred in this movie. I don't know. But so that director went from a very interesting independent film that I would like to see to fucking The Crow 4 Wicked Prayer. I mean, again, Six String Samurai, this is a 6.5. This fucking movie is a 2.8 and it deserves it. I don't know what the hell happened. And then, of course, this is the last film this guy's directed, and it made sense. And the other writers of this abomination is Jeff Most, who has produced all the Crow films, including the first one, and Lance Mungia, the director, helped write it, and then some guy named Sean Hood, which this guy, what else he wrote? Now maybe this is it. Halloween Resurrection, Cube 2, and fucking Conan the Barbarian in 2011. Holy shit. What a fucking dumbass. This movie, what more can I say? The cast sucks. Eddie Furlong is horribly miscast. When he's the Crow, he looks like a fucking emo chick. He's like a pussy. He's like a fucking girl. David Boreanaz. Part of me wonders if he played the Crow and not ham it up, maybe he would have been better. He probably would have. Like, get a director who knows what he's doing with this material. Maybe, David Boreanaz would have been better if you just give him fucking good direction. I mean, I don't mind David Boreanaz, but not in this movie. He doesn't do a good job. Tara Reid, why does this girl get acting roles? She sucks. Look at the fucking Alone in the Dark by Uwe Boll. She's horrible. Dennis Hopper, I'm sorry he's no longer with us, but he took a paycheck in a very dumb role as a fucking pimp. Just, what the fuck? The plot line is silly. Like, why do we need the Crow with, Satanists and Lucifer coming back? And you don't need that shit with the Crow. I mean, I'll say the Crow worked as one movie. You didn't need the shit. I mean, granted, try to do something different with this plot and being put in the desert setting. But the desert setting, it just makes it seem like it was done for budget reasons, not for artistic reasons. You know, Shooting in the desert is cheaper than shooting in an urban environment. And the film really seems extra low budget. The action scenes, there's not one single decent action scene. I'm not going to say good. There's not even one decent action scene. There's not one song that's worth a shit in the movie. At least the other Crow films have at least one song. Like the Crow Salvation has a song that has a song from Rob Zombie that's decent. Um, the Crow, the score, and the soundtrack's good. The second one, the bits of the score that's from the first film are good. And Gold Dust Woman and Your Boogeymans are good. Hey, this film, I hate The Crow 2, but I would say even The Crow 2 is better than this film. Because The Crow 2, at least it seemed like the director had a little bit of style. Like the bit where he shot the motorcycle that Iggy Pop blew off of, and granted it's more like a music video, but even that looked better than this movie. This movie just looked like a very, very low budget direct-to-DVD cheapskate. So the silly plot, shitty acting, horrible miscasting, silly shit like fucking Dennis Hopper as a pimp, and fucking Danny Trejo dancing with his shirt off around a crow so he can heal. This movie's pathetic. It just, and this bullshit of trying to make these villains like from time to time, they have this, oh, I feel bad for what we did, and no, should we do this? Like from time to time, I'm like, this is stupid. There are movies who have done that better. This movie doesn't. I mean, Tara Reid trying to, no, when she fucking gets the girl and cuts her eyes out, or at least her eye out, I don't feel sorry for her doubt. You don't buy her doubts of, oh, are we doing the right thing or this and that, and uh, this whole, are we really bad? We shouldn't. That bullshit doesn't work. When these guys are ready to kill kids or ready to do this and that, don't try to feel like sympathy for any of the characters. Give me a break. Or like, oh, they have doubts on what they're doing and should we really do it? Doesn't work in this movie. Because you didn't build it up right. You didn't deal with the characterizations right. Certain films can do that. This film, no, it just seems foolish. So the music sucks, the acting sucks, the production value seems ultra cheap. Eddie Furlong is horribly miscast. He looks like a fucking drag queen on emo night. His Crow is a pussy. Doesn't have a single badass moment. David Boreanaz is hamming it up, especially the third act. Tara Reid can't act for shit. This movie sucks ass. It's definitely the worst of the films, and it deserves a 2.8. Obviously, it gets a 2.8 on IMDb. I'm not the only one who feels this film shit. 2.8 on IMDb. A lot of people hate this fucking movie for good reasons. So if you was, oh, your review sucks, you know what? Check out IMDb, dude. or do that, check out IMDb. Because I'm not the one who hated this piece of shit. And check out their reasons. I think they'll agree with me more than you. So fuck this movie up its fucking ass. It sucks. Later.